Ider's Fieldhouse, which is beautiful, by the way, Coach. I love this place up here. I've been out here a few times, but I just noticed your nest up there. It's pretty cool. With their new head football coach, Coach Grant, and I'm going to let him introduce himself and a little bit about yourself, where you came from before you got this job.
Okay. Of course, my name is Chad Grant, head football coach here at Ider High School. The last 4 years, I was at Buckhorn High School over close to Huntsville. I was the offensive coordinator there 2 years. I was special teams coordinator before that. And then I also was at Pisgah for a year. And before that, I was at Valley Head with Coach Graham. And before that, I coached with Coach Kirby, and for Jeff Monroe at North Sand Mountain, was there with Adam Gilbert. And first started out there with Coach Wells, who was my high school football coach, who was here at Ider for many, many years. Matter of fact, this field house is dedicated to him. And I actually graduated from here a long time ago.
2 years ago.
You add about 30 more to that. That's about right.
That's awesome.
But it's good to be back here. I've been gone for a while, and I'm proud to be back here at Ider wearing the black and gold.
Coach, so you grew up here in Ider. What was that like? Life like when you was a kid here? I'm sure you probably played ball and
Yes, sir.
other things.
Yes, sir. It was, one thing that I lived up towards North Sand Mountain, and I had some cousins that went to school here, and North Sand Mountain didn't have a Pee Wee team when I was a kid one year, and I came down here because they did and played Pee Wee ball down here and got to know some of the kids. And then my mom, she got a job in the cafeteria. So my mom and dad decided to just move me here to Ider. And, of course, my dad met Coach Wells and thought a lot of him. And I ended up coming here and played for Coach Wells my high school career. And, man alive, he was a big, big impact on my life. And he was a hard-nosed coach, and I talk to him about every other day still. And when you come here, one thing that I was talking to the kids about when I first came here was about the tradition of Ider football. And, Ider's always had a tradition. When I talk to guys that I played with and guys that we played against, one thing that they always said about Ider is, they're going to play you for 4 quarters. They're going to hit you in the mouth. And you can always count on that. And that's kind of what we're tried to do, is to try to kind of bring that mentality back here of just playing hard. And I'll tell you what, these kids have stepped up this year, and that's exactly what they've done.
Coach Wells, one of your biggest influences growing up, who got somebody that kind of stuck out to you that really influenced your life?
My dad and my grandpas. I've been very fortunate. I had some very good role models to look up to. Coach Wells actually gave me my first coaching job when I was senior in high school. When my playing career was over, he asked me to coach the junior high team when I was a senior in high school and for the spring.
That's cool.
And he saw something in me that I didn't see at the time. When I first graduated high school, I wasn't planning on being a football coach. And he kind of saw something in me that I didn't really see. And he kind of lit that spark, and I am forever grateful.
No doubt. Man, having big influence, having positive influences from a male perspective, sometimes, unfortunately, that's a lost art form in today's society, man. How vital was that to get you where you are today?
Oh, it is very vital. That's my biggest goal as a football coach. It's not really about X's and O's. It's not about these kids. I want to be the best football player they can be, but my main objective is if they grow up and they're successful in life, they're good husbands, they're good fathers, then whether we win 20 games or whether we win 5, I'll be proud of them, because that's the most important thing. And I was very fortunate in my lifetime that I had those good role models, and if I can just make just a slight impact on these young men's life, like Coach Wells and other coaches I had in my life have on me, then I'll be very satisfied.
Oh, I'm sure you have, man. Like I said, it's a long start for them nowadays, brother. Now, let's rewind the clock. This is always a fun question. That first year you coached, you were still a senior, coaching a JV team, and you're seeing the game from another side. What was that like, and what did you learn in those that year?
Well, that I didn't know anything. You kind of really when you're a young coach, and I've said this quite often now. You yell a lot because you really don't know really what you're doing. So all you know is you're trying to be excited and try to get the kids to play hard because you really don't know the ins and outs of it yet. You don't know the fundamentals just yet, even though you were coached at your whole life. But it makes you learn. And some of the young guys that I've had an opportunity to talk to over the years, that's the one thing that I told them, it's great to be excited, but at some point you need to learn something else. When I first started out, I coached O-line, D-line, because that's what I played. And, over the years I started coaching other positions. It makes you learn the game. And that's something I encourage some young coaches I talk to is, it's good to be comfortable because you played that position, but it's great if you kind of stretch out and learn other positions because it makes you a better football coach.
That's right. I don't know if you're friends with Matt Glover, Clay Chalkwell, defense coordinator. He said something one time that makes very similar to what you said. He said, if you want to be a good defense coordinator, go coach offense. Because you need to know what they're looking for, how they're attacking things. He said that's how you become a better defense coordinator.
It's funny you said that. When I first went to Buckhorn, I was a D-line coach. And I coached with Coach Willoughby. He was the defensive coordinator, which I was with at Pisgah. And, that's the thing. A lot of people, they get on the offensive side of the ball, they stay on the defensive side of the ball most of their career. But it helps because you almost look at it backwards because you're always looking at it, well, if I make this adjustment, what would I do if I was going against myself?
Right.
Yeah. So, it does help. And I'll tell you what, that's great advice because it will make you better.
Now, as you started coming up in your coaching ranks and started getting more knowledgeable and getting more confident in things, who's some of those coaches that you've been under that really just like, God, this guy's got it going on right here?
One of them was my head coach, Coach Wells. Just that he really taught me how to be a head football coach. I mean, just his organization.
Those who don't know, it's
yeah.
Head football coach. Coaching football is like down on your list. You got so many other things.
Right. That they don't see you on Saturday mornings when you're up here mopping and
Right.
washing clothes
Selling ads.
Yeah, but
hands.
yeah, but he was very good, a good influence. I learned a lot under him. I here's the thing, and I've told a lot of coaches this too. Getting back because I am older. You always learn. Every stop that you ever make, you learn. Sometimes you learn what to do, and sometimes you learn what not to do. But you always learn. You always take notes because when you get your opportunity, then you take everything that you've learned over the years and you kind of melt it together in the program that you want. Coach Jeff Monroe, I learned a lot under him. Just kind of the way that he handled the program and letting his coaches coach. Coach Keith Henderson at Buckhorn, he did the same thing. He had the same approach of allowing his coaches to coach. You know, sometimes that's the hardest thing, especially when you're first starting out as a head coach. You know, I've seen it before. Because when it all comes down to it, you know, everybody's yelling at you because you're kind of the face of the program. So, you know, that's just the way it is, and that's okay. I mean, that's the way it should be. But, you know, you're better off when you got good people around you, and I'm very fortunate here to have good people around me to let your coaches coach and do their job. And I guess out of all the coaches that I've coached with and been under, that's the one thing that I've learned over the years. Probably the biggest thing is allowing your coaches to coach. And Coach Alan Willoughby, I coached with him at Pisgah and then 4 years at Buckhorn. He may be one of the best defensive minds I've ever been around. And I think he's now at Austin. But I'll tell you what, I learned a great deal about the defensive game from him. He is the sharpest guy I've ever been around when it comes to the defensive side of the ball.
Dude, it's always good to sharpen your tools with guys like that as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Big time. Now, how many years have you been a head coach?
This is my first
This is
year.
your first stint as a head coach. How much different has that been, brother? Just to take the bull by the horns here at your alma mater and become a head coach. You're seeing the other end of the spectrum now. I'm sure you've been preparing yourself for this moment, but to actually get your hands on it, how's that been?
Well, you know, it's a little bit of a shell shock at first. You know, you can't let it overwhelm you. I am proud that I didn't become a head coach when I was younger, because I don't think I would have been ready for it. And, you know, the old saying is you're never really ready for your first head coaching job. But you know, I think having all the influences that I had helped prepare me for this, and really my assistant coaches here helped probably the most, because they help me out, and they do a great job, and they take care of some things that, you know, frees me up a little bit. I guess the biggest thing with a head coaching spot that you really don't know till you get in it is all the extra stuff off the field.
Yeah.
You know, the organization, making sure, you know, this is taken care of, that's taken care of.
Different world.
Yeah, it is, but it's all great, and it's fun, and really it's a relief when you finally get to walk out on that practice field or walk out on that game field on Friday nights, because now you're just focused on one thing, and that's all you're focused on.
That's right. Now, when you seen this job come open, was you hesitant to put in, or was you think now is my chance?
You know, this job actually, you know, it came open, I think 4 years ago when Coach Tinker left, and you know, I thought about it, and I had a couple of people contact me about the job then, but I had just took the offensive coordinator job at Buckhorn, and I'm a firm believer in my life that everything happens in its own time, and everything happens for a reason, and at the time I just didn't feel like it was the right time, and I had just taken that job, and you know, I do my best to try to be a man of my word, and I'd already said I was going to take that offensive coordinator job, so you know, it just didn't work out. And when it came open this time, I just felt like it was time, and I'm glad it worked out the way it did. I'm happy to be back.
I'm sure the good Lord led you over here, buddy.
Oh, well,
I love talking about it on our channel. I know some people don't on our channel. You unload, buddy.
Okay, well, that's a good thing, because I'll tell you what, it was all in God's timing.
There you go.
That's the way it's been all my life.
That's good.
And
That's awesome.
you know, that's the way I look at it. And at every stop I've been at, you know, he's always had his hand on it, and you know, I'll be here until he's done with me here. And that's kind of the way I've always looked at it. So I'm proud to be here, and we'll just see what's in store.
Now, when you got here day one, and you got to sit down and meet with the guys, what was that first initial message?
The first initial message was, we talked about, I asked them what the tradition of Ider Hornet football was. And some of them really didn't know. And so I told them. And I asked them if they were prepared to bring back that tradition. And they all was 100% locked in and said absolutely. And from that day forward, they have worked hard, and you know they bought into what we've been selling, and you know that's the biggest thing, especially your first year, is you know whether it's in high school or whether it's in college, is when the kids buy in. Man, it's just special, and it makes it fun.
Oh yeah.
And you know what, these kids, I'll tell you now, these kids, they play as hard as any group I've ever been around. I mean, there is just absolutely no quit in them. And from day one, that message was, we're gonna line up, we're gonna play for 4 quarters, give everything we got, and you know what, they may not be many of us, but we can only play with 11, and they can only play with 11, and we're going to trot our 11 out and just see what happens.
Roll the dice, brother.
Yeah, that's right.
Now, you guys actually had some success even early here, you know. I mean, you're sitting at 2-1 right now, and your only loss was to a ranked, very powerful 3A team that literally could very well beat 5 coming up in a couple of weeks and win that region. I mean, talk about the season so far and how that's going on.
Well, I'll tell you what, we came out that first game against Woodville, and everybody was excited. And, you know, as a coach, I knew Woodville was going to be rebuilding a little bit. They had lost their coach and everything, but I was just wanting our kids to play hard. And I knew they were going to.
That effort, didn't you?
Yeah, I wanted that effort, and I wanted us to play as hard as we could. And we came out, and they played for 4 quarters, got a lot of kids, a lot of playing time. And, you know, we won that ball game. And then we came out against Plainview, and I'll tell you what, you know, they was ranked number 6. I don't know what they're ranked right now, but they were ranked number 6 in the state when we played them in 3A. And
only 2 losses to 5 people.
Yeah, and our kids just didn't back down, and they were physical from the get-go, and they just wouldn't quit. And you know, even when adversity hit them. You know, and I talked to them about that during the week. You know, that was our message. You know, something bad's going to happen. Just get ready for it. At some point in the game, something's bad going to happen. And what are you going to do? How are you going to respond when that bad thing happens? So, you know, and man, they played hard. I tell you what, they came out, you know, it was 14-7. We stopped them a couple of times in the first half, and then we went down and scored. And, then they hit us with a long run and went in 14-7, and man, our kids were gassed. Now I'll tell you what, they were laid in here in the field house, and boy, they were just at halftime they were just gassed.
They laid it on the line.
And that was just a half, but they were tired, they were hurting, but there was no quit in their eyes, you know. And we came out, rolled the ball out there in the second half. And Plainview went up 20-7, and our kids just didn't quit. And we lined up and ran the ball right at them and ended up scoring. And, you know, it was 20-14 with about 4 minutes to go in the game. And they finally came down and kind of put the nail in the coffin.
That's might be the best Plainview team in a decade, at least. I mean, that's years that he's got over there right now.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, they were big and physical. And we were, it was just, I'll tell you what, and me and Coach Ledbetter talked about it after the game. It was just a good old-fashioned DeKalb County slobber-knocking football game. I'll tell you what, man, it was a hard-hitting ball game.
Yeah.
And, you know, last night we we went up our North Side Mountain. Of course, that's a big, big rival.
Oh,
And, you know, it's first region game. And, you know, Ider hadn't beat North Side Mountain in a while. I think it's been about 5 years. And, you know, we had said, you know, North Side Mountain kind of took one on the chin against Dade County the week before. But, you know, you watch that game on film, North Side Mountain's a good football team.
Oh, yeah.
And,
They made a
you
good
know,
run last year.
yeah. And, you know, that the score of that Dade County game kind of is deceiving when you watch them on film. They wasn't a 51-0 team.
Yeah.
And they came out and they had a quarterback change and did some stuff a little bit different on us in the first half, and pretty much we couldn't hardly stop them on defense. And they had some good drives, and we were struggling to stick a ball in the end zone in the first half. I mean, we take a ball and we get it down there to the goal line and can't punch it in. And, you know, and then they get the ball and go on a long drive. I think 16th play drive, go down and score. And it was just back and forth the rest of the first half. And, you know, we was having a hard time to stopping them. And, you know, the one thing about, you know, playing in our classification, you know, everybody plays both ways. Nobody leaves the field. So it's hard to make any in-game adjustments.
It ain't like you got TVs over there. Like
No, it's not like it was. You know, when I was at Buckhorn, defense is coming off. You can make adjustments and get them done quick, or even on offense.
Yeah.
But we held on, and you know, we went in 7-0 at halftime, and our defensive coordinator, Coach Hanna, and Coach Bell, Coach Massey, they did a great job at halftime, making halftime adjustments defensively, and we came out. And they still move the ball on us a little bit because, you know, they're a good football team. They're very well coached. They got some great athletes. And they moved the ball on us a little bit. But in that fourth quarter, we kind of took over. And that's, you know, that's what we want to do. You know, we want to play hard. And in that fourth quarter, we want to be able to take over. And we scored twice in the fourth quarter to win the game. Yes, sir.
Main thing I took away from this interview is they ain't no quit in their eyes. Man.
No, they don't. I'll tell you this, and I tell them all the time. Every week I told them, you know, after we played Plainview up here, I was super proud of them. And I told them last night, you know, I was proud of them again, but they just keep raising that bar every week because they won't quit. I mean, I'm not superstitious, but I'm going to knock on wood right here. You know, we've not turned the ball over.
Huge.
And, you know, we didn't turn the ball over at Louisville. We didn't turn the ball over in Plainview. I think we're about +6 on the season in the turnover category.
Huge.
So, you know, they are very disciplined on offense. You know, we take care of the football, and that's the main thing. You know, we preach to them every week. I tell them every week, giving them keys to victory. And one of the keys is take care of the football. And you got to tackle and being disciplined.
Make somebody else beat you instead of you beat yourself.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
A lot of teams, I've seen really talented teams around this state that, I mean, they just got dudes stacked on top of dudes, but go out there and beat yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and we just, you know, these kids have done an unbelievable job. I'm just so tickled with them and our coaching staff. You know, they work hard. They do an unreal job.
That's good, man. So, man, I'm proud of you guys. You know, like I mean, it's been eye-opening in what you Jeff Allen was bragging on you last night on the scoreboard show. I don't know if you heard that. It was about 12 o'clock. I'm sure you was busy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was bragging. He's like, man, these guys are off to a really good start. I mean, you play Plainview like that, so that's huge, man. The community. Now, I seen a video from you guys last night of the crowd and how people was chanting, it's great to be an Ider Hornet. Man.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, and it's all credit to these kids and the way they played, but we got great community support here. These guys have bought in and they're excited, and I'll tell you what now, it was so loud last night, and it's been a long time since I've been at a high school football game where it's so loud on the sidelines I couldn't hardly hear. And our student section here, and you know, I kind of challenged the kids here when I got here because, you know, the student section and the school spirit when I went to school here was great. And, man, they were just fired up. And I'll tell you what, they have rose to the challenge. Our student section is awesome. They have done a super job. And it just makes it fun. It makes it fun for everybody. That's the way high school football should be.
100%. And having pride in where you grew up, your parents grew up.
Absolutely.
To me, that's huge. And it's what separates high school football from any other. I think it's the purest form of football there is.
Oh, there's nothing like high school football. I'm telling you, it's just if I could write,
yeah.
I would love to just be able to put it in words.
Yeah. Because
there's no feeling like Friday Night Lights.
It's nothing like it's character building. It's community, bringing the community together. It's it's brotherhood.
Yeah.
It's hard. That one song, I can't remember that guy made that song. Boys of
Ball. Yeah.
He's a Kenny
Chesney, I think.
But he hit on it pretty close.
Oh yeah.
He had a song version, but you could write a book, it'd be a best-selling novel about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's something.
To me, it's a little more special in towns such as these. Across the town, just say somebody like Holt's Bluff or somebody like that. It's the smaller towns. I mean, we cover the Clay Chalkvilles,
right.
We've been to Hoover, stuff like that. But to me, in these smaller towns, smaller communities, it just means a little bit more.
Yeah, I mean the people here, they love Ider football. They love Ider sport, and the one thing they just love to see these kids play hard. And, like I said, that tradition of Ider football, that these fans, when, the kids came out of the locker room last Friday night, nobody, we don't celebrate moral victories, I don't put a lot of clout in that, but I do celebrate when the kids give everything they got, because it doesn't. I don't care what the scoreboard says. When you got kids that give everything they got and they can't hardly get up to go out to celebrate, then
they barely got out of here.
Yeah. So you know what? Hey,
I'm gonna celebrate that.
Absolutely, I'm gonna celebrate that because you can't ask no more from them.
That's right. Yeah, because they could have folded up shop.
Yeah,
especially on a team like that. 50 pounds on you.
Yeah, and when they got up 27. I mean, they could have just tucked tail, but buddy, they didn't. They kept fighting,
that's awesome.
And that's what we try to preach around here all the time, and that's what Ider football should be, and that's what we're trying to do.
Coach, man, it's been a pleasure getting to know you and sitting in here with you. Shout out to my man Tyler Dalton. He's always probably one of our bigger fans.
I love TD.
Oh yeah,
yes sir. Absolutely.
TD set this up for me. He gave me your number, a few months ago, and you and I talked briefly, and I had some tragedies hit. And I'm glad we got out here and got caught up with you, Coach, and we want to stay in touch with you.
All right. I appreciate it.
Hey, I appreciate you, Coach, and good luck moving forward.
All right. Thanks, sir.